From the campus of North Central University in downtown Minneapolis, TSB Television proudly welcomes you to the Women's Blue Chip Basketball League. Tonight, the Minnesota Black Ice begins its 2014 season, its first year as a WBCBL member, as they host the Kansas Nuggets. Good evening, everyone. Mike Peden here with Alex Nagel. And Alex, this is always a fun time getting to see a few old faces, and we're going to have plenty of notable names among our two teams tonight.
Oh, no question, Mike. It really is. You look at some of those names like Brittany McSparron, played for Eastview. Ashley Ellis-Milan, played at St. Paul Central. That's just to rattle a couple of names off the top of my head. But, I think what's even going to be more interesting is to watch this team come together and see how they gel and see if they can do it. Remember, this is their first game tonight, so I think it's going to be very important for them to try to get off to a good start and see if they can gel early on.
But they have a coach who can get them on that path to chemistry, Faith Johnson-Patterson. Of course, you and I are familiar with their 8 state tournament championships with Minneapolis North and De La Salle, and not to mention all the other state tournament appearances she has made. In fact, 4 of her proteges are on this roster tonight. Brianna Edwards, Tyree Ross, as she's known now. And 2 won't be here, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. But just a lot of talent on the Minnesota roster.
Well, if you want somebody to lead a group that we have here tonight, it's certainly her, Mike. She's such a great coach, and she's had so many titles and so many accolades to her name. I can't imagine who else that you would want leading this team.
And what does this do to showcase some of the state's best talent? Because it's really tough to get in the WNBA. Folks like Kachine Alexander understand that. She got drafted 3 years ago, didn't make the cut. And some other very talented players who have lit up their prep and college careers, and they all mesh together here.
Well, Mike, I think it just shows you what kind of talent that the state of Minnesota has to offer. You had so many players who not only excelled at the high school level, but also at the college level as well. So the fact that they're all gathered here tonight and an opportunity to showcase their talent, I think is just fantastic for the state of Minnesota and women's basketball in general.
I'm excited to see who will have a breakout performance tonight, akin to Tamiris Dantas last night in the Minnesota Lynx season opening victory over the Washington Mystics. And Kansas, we don't know as much about, and if you follow this broadcast, we'll be skewing more to Minnesota's end just because of the geography, but they do have a familiar name for followers of Minnesota basketball, and that is Leah Cotton, who spent her college career playing for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and she is now an AAU coach but wants to continue playing, and an old face coming back up here. And Kansas, as you saw 3 years ago when they played the Minnesota Jaguars, did very well, came out with an overtime win. What should we expect from the Nuggets?
Well, as you mentioned, Mike, they already have one game under their belt. So in terms of game toughness, I think they have an advantage there, certainly. And you talk about Leah Cotton, she's one of the leading rebounders on this Kansas Nugget team. So expect her to have a big game defensively.
And she was a very feisty guard in her days in Minnesota, very quick and speedy, and we'll see how she parlays that experience into the semi-professional circuit tonight. And we'll be profiling her and several other players who are participating in this event. So stick around, the starting lineups will be coming up. This is the WBCBL on TSB Television.
Hello everybody. Hello everybody. My name is D.J. Poulos. I am the owner of the Minnesota Black Ice. We would like to welcome you to our first home opener against the Kansas City Nuggets. Can we put our hands together for the young ladies? Thank you all for coming out. Tonight we have a special guest in the house, a dear friend of mine. Boyd Morris is running for the candidate city for mayor in the city of Brooklyn Park. So at this time he's going to come out and do our honorary prayer and honorary tip-off. Mr. Morris, put your hands together, please. Everybody put your hands together for this wonderful opportunity to show these ladies talents. Put your hands together for these ladies. I'm Boyd Morris, candidate for the city of Brooklyn Park mayor. if any guys live in that community and or if anybody knew anybody in that community, and respectfully ask that you ask them to look out for Boyd Morrison and check that ballot on August the 12th for Morrison for mayor. But any day, I want to see everybody take this minute and just bow your head. And we come today giving thanks and praises, O Heavenly Father, to you for allowing this moment to happen. We ask that you bless this game, protect all the players. Let them do what they come here to do, O Lord. And let them enjoy this game. Let them magnify your name and know that it's all about you. At the end of the day, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But most importantly, in the midst of what they're doing, and in their shooting, and in their playing, and in their competition, let them know that you is first and foremost. We ask all these things that you bless them, each and every one of these teams. Bless their coaches, bless the camaraderie, and bless the teams, Father. We ask these things that they continue to go forward in your name and in your son's name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And now for start lineups. Starting with the Kansas City Nuggets at guard, Leah Cotton. At guard, Brittany English. 32.
Are we on, Bernie? I guess we are. And we're recording.
At point guard, number 10, Jones.
Welcome to North Central University, everyone. Let's take a look at the starting five for both teams. We'll begin with the visiting Kansas Nuggets. In numerical order, it's number 10, Dayon Hall-Jones. She's the 5'4" guard. Number 11, Leah Cotton, 5'8" guard. Number 20, Ashley Joppa, 6'1" wing. Number 32, Brittany English. She is a 6-foot wing. And number 33, Jay Tenner, 6-foot forward. Minnesota will start. Number 3, Tempest Wilson. Wilson is a guard from South Dakota. She'll be joined by Tanisha Scott, who went to UND, coach at Minneapolis South. Pamela January, number 13, also a South Dakota graduate. She will play the wing. Ashley Ellis-Milan, the assistant coach at Minneapolis South. You may remember her from her days at Minnesota. She's at center. And number 32, a name Alex remembers fondly, Kachine Alexander, the wing from the University of Iowa, and in her sophomore season, one of just 2 guards in the entire NCAA to average a double-double.
Well, it's always good to see somebody from my alma mater here, Mike, so it is kind of special in that regard, for certainly. You look at this Kansas Nuggets team, they're led by Dayon Hall-Jones, scored 22 points in her first game. So she's going to be somebody that you're going to want to keep your eye on tonight for Kansas.
And for Minnesota, as we discussed, this is their first game. They were scheduled to play against Springfield on Sunday. That was canceled because the visiting team could not get up here. So there are a lot of unknowns on this Minnesota roster.
Certainly. You know, and what we alluded to in the opening, Mike, the fact that this is Minnesota's first game, I'm going to be curious to see how well they come out of the gate here tonight. You know, can they avoid early game jitters in regards to turnovers, mistakes? I think that's going to be the key tonight for this Minnesota Black Ice team.
And this team has been together roughly 2 weeks. As we noted, a couple of absences tonight for Minnesota's roster. You will not see Daria Frazier or Tamara Moore, and Tamara Moore has a very reasonable excuse. She
graduated from the
obtained her bachelor's degree today. 12 years after she left her collegiate career at Wisconsin, her playing career, I should say, but we want to congratulate her nonetheless. Speaking as a college graduate myself, it is a distinguished honor to walk and get that bachelor's degree.
It certainly is.
So congratulations to Tamara Moore. Hopefully we'll see her at a later game this season, but again, it's understandable that she would skip this game for such a prestigious recognition. Well, I'm looking forward to this. I haven't called some of these players in a long time, and some I covered in high school. You are seeing the honorary tip-off. I remember Kachine Alexander. She was a Gophers killer in her days at Iowa. Well, a lot of Minnesota players end up that way, and the great job of Lisa Bluter. Ashley Ellis-Milan, She and I effectively went to the U of M together. Graduated in 2010, played overseas for a while, and she and Tanisha Scott have a burgeoning program at Minneapolis South, and we'll talk all about the storylines following these players as we move along. Tip-off is made, and the first possession will go to the Kansas Nuggets. They are wearing the blue jerseys. Minnesota's wearing the white. We play international rules, so 10-minute quarters, 24-second shot clock, 8-second backcourt rule, all of that fine stuff. Jumper off the rim from number 10, Hull Jones. Out of bounds, dead ball rebound to the black ice.
I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I was going to say another familiar name. The official who just gave the black ice the ball is Crystal Flint, and she was on hand for that triple overtime thriller. We have a three-pointer from Tanisha Scott that's off the mark. Offensive rebound from Ashley Ellis-Milan. She curls, kicks out to Pamela January, goes back out to Scott. Tempest Wilson loses the handle. Pamela January there in the recovery. Finds it open. Wilson for three. Short. Ellis-Milan tried to get the rebound, goes out of bounds to finish up on Crystal Flint. She was on hand to officiate that triple overtime thriller in the Class 3A state championship between Park Center and Marshall. A game in where you lost your hat, I presume.
Pretty much.
Ashley Ellis-Milan can't get the roll, and the rebound will go to number 33, Jay Tinner. The last time we covered a WBCBL game, it was this Kansas team, as we noted. They beat Minnesota in overtime, the old Jaguars program. A team that had some familiar names. Ellis-Milan was on that team. Frazier, Tamara Moore was.
Kind of a slow start here for both teams tonight.
Still scoreless in the first minute. Ellis-Milan sees an opening. She attacks and is blocked by Joppa. And picking it up is Tinner. Leah Cotton handling the ball. And a blocking foul is called on Kachine Alexander. Those are two old Big Ten opponents going at each other. Hull Jones from Dallas, Texas, went to the University of Missouri, Kansas City. On the drive, no layup from English. She couldn't get the English on that one. Instead, ended up with Spanish. January used up the dribble, needs help, finds Ashley Ellis-Milan. Milan double team. January pulls up, short. And we are still scoreless. Cotton was very speedy in her time with the Gophers. Firing and beating the shot clock is Hull Jones, but she can't get the long two. And the rebound goes to number 11, Tanisha Scott, and the blocking foul is called. Tanisha Scott, the head coach at Minneapolis South.
Well, you know, that's very interesting, Mike, because she's getting the best of both worlds when you look at it. She's not only coaching, but she's still playing, and playing quite well, if I may add.
And she coaches her younger sister, Morgan Hill, and as you may know, Kachine Alexander's foul will shoot free throws. Their more famous sister, Taylor Hill, a member of the WNBA's Washington Mystics. Kachine Alexander at the line, did get drafted by the Minnesota Lynx in 2011 in the third round, did not get past training camp. Now an assistant coach at Concordia University in St. Paul. School qualified to their first Elite Eight in history.
They had a very good year this year for sure, Mike.
And they have a strong program, have sent a lot of talented folks over the years under the guidance of Paul Fessler. Kachine Alexander breaks the scoreless drought to start the game with two free throws. On the drive, can't finish his Cotton. Rebound, no good. From Tinner, another try, no. A third try, and she's blocked by Wilson. She kicks out now. Hull Jones has it. All those O boards and nothing to show for it. semi-pro or WNBA, you hate to see that on any possession.
Yep.
Cotton on the drive, fakes her way through and gets the layup.
Nice move by Leah Cotton. I think an even better play, actually kicking it out there and giving her a chance to do that, Mike.
So they do get a pair of second chance points on the plethora of offensive rebounds. What a nice feed. Ellis-Milan on the score. The feed from Tanisha Scott.
Sure was. I think it's going to be really important for Ashley Ellis-Milan to be able to dominate down low for this Minnesota Black Ice team, Mike.
And I imagine those two have chemistry with each other, both being on the coaching staff at Minneapolis South.
Yep.
Cotton shot is blocked, so it will stay with the Nuggets. Brittany English to inbound. 6:30 to go in the first quarter. That's strange for me to say. I'm used to covering halves. You and I have done many high school games. 3 seconds on the shot clock. They get it off in time. Bullseye. Hall Jones. I have to remember we have a shot clock too.
Yeah.
You and I have covered so many high school games together, we forget that some of these sports are timed. Wilson on the counter. That's off the mark. High Karam though, and Kachine Alexander on the drive. She gets the roll. Alexander with 4 points.
A lot of people think Kachine Alexander can only score, but she can rebound too, Mike.
As we said, one of 2 guards to average a double-double in her sophomore season. And as Ellis-Milan gets the rebound, looking at her profile, she finished second in Iowa history in career rebounds with 910. January 16-footer is short. Rebound, Ashley Japa. Leah Cotton off the screen. Goes to Hall Jones. Waiting to make her move. Baseline drive, kicks out for 3. Rims out. That was Japa on the attempt. Ellis-Milan with the rebound. January pulls up. Still can't find her shot. 5 minutes left in the first quarter. 6-5 in favor of the Black Ice. Tinner's open, and she beats Pamela January. Tinner having about 3 inches over Pamela January and used every space or every centimeter. Kansas retakes the lead. That was an off-balance shot. That doesn't go in for Tanisha Scott. Hall Jones on the drive, finds Cotton open, and jukes Ellis-Milan for the layup.
Nice little transition there by the Kansas Nuggets as they grab a 9-6 lead here at the 4:19 mark of the first quarter, Mike.
Cotton with 4 points, and it's a 9-6 score in favor of the Nuggets. Leah Cotton's best season was her junior year. Wasn't much of a factor in her senior season. Pretty much a role player throughout her career with the Gophers, but now becoming a coach, member of the Warriors AAU program, which she mentioned happened by accident.
Yeah.
She had no intention of coaching, but she's liking it now and still hasn't ruled out the WNBA as a possible career path.
Well, and you know, like I said, she's got the best of both worlds. I mean, she's still playing very well, so why not take advantage of it? And you're getting some coaching experience and being able to spread the knowledge that you have to the younger players. So I think that's just great.
Substitutions for both teams.
Brianna Sally's in there.
And Tyree Ross is in there for Minnesota. Ross, one of Faith Johnson-Patterson's proteges. Also in the game is number 33, Brianna Edwards. And she has the ball now. She's on the drive, but comes up empty.
Smart play by Japa there.
Cotton. Fearless so far. She'll go to the line.
Kansas so far, Mike, doing a good job of getting into the lane making some opportunities and getting to the free throw line to get some points or expand on their lead.
Cotton had 18 points and 6 rebounds in her first game of the season. That took place last week. On the floor for the Nuggets, a couple of new names. Ruth Buffalo, number 44. And number 42, Campbell Santoya. Cotton converts on both free throws. And Kansas extends their lead to 5. Edwards inside to Ellis-Milan. Nothing. Rebound, Santoya. Outlet pass does hook up, but a traveling violation is called on Chapa. She was not in the best of positions.
Yep.
By the way, Crystal Flint, I asked her before the game if we would see another triple overtime, and she said no. She had enough of those this season.
Sometimes one will do you.
It did all of us. I had to check my pulse after that game. Edwards, tough shot, can't get it to fall. Ellis-Milan is there. She'll fire the 15-footer, and she'll get the friendly bounce. Ellis-Milan up to 4 points. Minnesota, all their points have come from Ellis-Milan and Alexander. Cotton, the leading scorer, with 6. Paul Jones pulls up, swish.
I have her with unofficially with 5 points, Mike.
She has 5. Ellis-Milan, high-low, hi-ho. Delay of game called on Minnesota. It's amazing what you can pick up with the basket or the mics on the baskets.
Yeah.
But give that last basket to Ellis-Milan. She has 6 points. Ellis-Milan ranks 14th in Minnesota school history for career points, crossing the 1,000 mark.
Ooh.
Foul is called. I believe that's on Alexander.
A little break for the Nuggets here. That pass was a little too high there for Ruth Buffalo. But credit Cotton coming up there with that loose ball.
I believe that is her second. Now, I understand with international rules, I believe that's 5 fouls, or is it 6?
I want to say it's 6, Mike.
I know it's 6 in the WNBA. Well, we'll find out if we get that high. For 3.
Wow.
Pure is Hall Jones.
She's finding the range here early this evening.
She's got a quick 8 points. Alexander pump fakes the 3, sees an opening, and she'll shoot a pair. Alexander had quite the journey at Iowa. Didn't play much in her freshman season and had to sit out in the spring semester because she was academically ineligible, which she said was a wake-up call. And from that point, dedicated herself as a student, as an athlete, and you're seeing the results. Again, an amazing career at Iowa, and now she's passing on that knowledge at Concordia.
Yep. That, just recalling my days as a student there, it can be a wake-up call.
The first player in Iowa history to cross 1,000 career points, 800 career rebounds, and 300 career assists. And she's perfect from the line. 16-12 with 2:17 left in the first quarter. Cotton to Hall Jones. Hall Jones with the hot hand, but can't hit the baseline, Jay, and the rebound by Brianna Edwards. Sally, what a nice transition play, but Ross can't finish. Oh my goodness.
What a block by Leah Cotton. She got a hand on that one, Mike.
Did we tell you she's speedy? She's accelerating. And Campbell Santoya with the long deuce. That gets her on the board. Scott, carrying violation. I will say this, the shot clock has not come into play so far. Not too often, anyway.
That, in my mind, is almost a little surprising, particularly for the Black Ice, because this is their first game. And the one thing that concerned me a little is how well they would gel offensively. So far, they've been doing okay. They've avoided shot clock problems. That was the one area I was concerned about.
I don't think it's shot clock issues, it's more shooting accuracy. Cotton pump fakes a three. Goes to Hall Jones. 7 on the shot clock. They recognize it, but an air ball from Japa. Japa has yet to score in this game, one of the few blemishes for the Kansas Nuggets in the first quarter.
Japa had 12 points in that first game, Mike.
Ross, an assistant coach at De La Salle, misses the shot. Brianna Edwards works her way in and will shoot free throws. Edwards really blossomed in her senior season at Providence, finished third on the team in scoring at 9.4 points per game, and posted 4 double-doubles that year.
Edwards' first free throw is good.
Edwards looking to land an overseas contract, and when she's done with her playing career, would like to take up broadcasting. Actually shadowed ESPN for an NBA shoot and got to meet up with Doris Burke and Jeff Van Gundy and Mike Breen, the top team for ESPN. Really enjoyed that experience. Makes both free throws here. And it's an 18-14 game, less than a minute to play. Remember, there is a backcourt rule, and Leah Cotton barely gets over in time. Hall Jones is open. They have 10 seconds. Cotton for 3. And no. Tanisha Scott wrestles for the rebound. If the Black Eyes can hurl it, they can get a 2-for-1. They will not.
And turnovers starting to rear their ugly head here for the Black Ice, Mike.
Foul is called. Black Ice had 1 to give. You get 4 fouls in each period. The foul is on Scott, but that resets the shot clock, and there is a 6-second differential from shot clock to game clock now. Token full court pressure. Cotton will run out the clock as much as she can. Cotton pulls up.
Oh,
Got it.
what a shot from the corner by Leah Cotton.
Minnesota with time. Tanisha Scott beats the buzzer. What a bank.
My goodness.
An exciting finish to the end of the first quarter. 20-16 the score in favor of Kansas. And we'll pause for a couple minutes, and the reason being, before the game I had the chance to speak with some of our players, including Kachine Alexander, who is a perfect 4-4 from the free throw line, so we'll get a glimpse at what she's been up to. Mike Peden here with one of the Black Eyes players, Kachine Alexander. And Kachine, why don't you give us a little background on this team? What led you to join, and how did this organization materialize?
Well, when they had the first semi-pro team in Minnesota, I was still in college, so it was something I was like, okay, at least we have, another option in Minnesota if, pro doesn't, or WNBA doesn't work out. And then when it came about, a bunch of the girls that I know I've either played against or have played with most of the girls on the team.
What kind of opportunity does it offer for players? As you mentioned, the WNBA, very tough to get in, and there are a lot of talented athletes, as we've seen over the years. So how does this keep them involved in the sport?
Well, with our league, the WBC BL, there's a lot of girls on all different teams that's gone overseas, may have gone to some WNBA camps. So I think it gives us an opportunity, especially for us. We play 2 times this year double headers with the Lynx. So May 24th, we play after the Lynx, and then May 26th, the Monday, we go to Chicago and play before the Lynx. So it's kind of a cool opportunity because we both get to, see them and they see us, and you get your name out there either way. So I think that's a good opportunity in general, and the WBCBL has done a great job in helping girls get to where they want to get to.
So what brought you onto this team? You mentioned you were in college the last time Minnesota had a semi-pro team. What led you to put on the shorts and the jersey again?
Well, I'm a college coach right now, but there is that still little itch there that being part of a team as a coach is being different as being a player. So, with everybody saying you should do it, I'm like, okay, you know what, let me get back into it, see how it goes, whatever. And I'm enjoying it right now. We'll see how the season opener goes, but I mean, for right now, it's fun.
So if you get blown out by 30 tonight, you're retiring?
No, I'm not a quitter. I got to come back and I got to win and go on retirement. I can't lose and go on retirement.
Speaking of coaching, you've been doing that for a couple of years now at Concordia as an assistant. What led you to that, and what attracted you to coaching?
Well, when I was at Iowa, my head coach was real big on me being a coach, and I kind of, wanted to give back. And then I got the opportunity at Concordia, and I actually love it. I enjoy it. I figured, okay, I went overseas 1 year. Let me try this. If I don't like it, I can always go back. But as you can see, I'm still coaching. So it was definitely a great move for me.
I think you reached the Elite Eight this past season.
Yep, I was first in school history. So it was definitely a great year for us last year, which was the end of my second year coaching. So it was a great year for us, and excited for the future.
So what have you learned as a coach that you can use to approach the game as a player again?
Well, I can definitely say I've called some of my coaches and apologized because there's a lot of things that I did not, think was such a big deal. But now that I'm a coach, I'm like, ooh, okay, now I get it. So it definitely helps me on the court. I see things a little bit differently. So I'm still a player and I'm a coach as well on the floor. So that's a different, thing for me.
And how instrumental were they in retrospect and even back then? Because you went to Benilde St. Margaret's under Bob Lyons, won a state title there, and then you had Lisa Bluter, who I believe is now the winningest coach in Iowa basketball history, and so two very solid coaches under your belt.
I'm a firm believer that when you are a coach, you take things back. There's a lot of things that Coach Bluter does in her program that I do in my program now, and I will continue to do. You learn and take different things that best fits you. There's things at Benilde that I like that I keep. So I learn from everyone. I feel like basketball is always growing, and you can learn from anyone, anywhere, anytime.
I guess going back to those days a little bit, anything you miss about the high school or college circuit now that you've been a few years removed and had a chance to kind of establish a career path where you're not under the microscope from folks like me all the time?
I actually really miss college basketball. I like the environment. I like the fans, the interaction with the fans. I like just everything about college basketball, what it means to, the community and women's basketball in general, because we are starting to build, trying to get the WNBA people to realize, hey, you need to come. This is a sport you need to watch. We're still working on that. We're still getting there. But I really miss college basketball. I watch it all the time as much as I can. So, but I would definitely say that's something that I miss.
So you still cheer for the Iowa Hawkeyes, I presume?
Oh, yes. Hawkeyes till the day I die. Yes, always.
And talk a little bit more about that, what you maybe picked up from it, because if I recall, you had to sit out for a semester freshman year, and then you bounced back in a big way. I think the only thing that derailed you was an injury of sorts, but you had an outstanding career there, and I think really provided a source of inspiration for folks at Iowa City and back here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, exactly. My freshman year, I learned a lot. I learned that it was time to grow up. It was time to time management, things like that. That's a hard thing when you're a college athlete, is time management. That's hard. So I had to learn that, and I'm an advocate for it. I helped freshmen coming in when I was in Iowa, and I tried to help everybody. And I still help kids that haven't been in college to let them know, hey, this is what you need to do. It's really important, and it's something that we should all, take care of, because without that student, you can't be a student athlete.
And getting back here for a moment, what are you looking forward to tonight? Getting to play against some old foes of yours. Ashley Ellis-Milan was a former opponent, for example, and then getting to play with some maybe old friends of yours too.
I'm excited. I think that it's going to be a fun environment. We only really have had our whole entire team together for about 2 weeks. So, because Brianna Sally and Brianna Edwards were both away. So
You're not saying that because they're just walking by here, are you?
no, I'm not even kidding. I'm so serious. Like, they were away, so they haven't been here for that long. So we're finally gelling and getting ourselves together. So it should be fun to kind of see how we come out, but I think we're going to do well.
And where do you see yourself going forward? You mentioned maybe finding another pro slot. Would you continue the coaching path, or what else would you like to do?
I'm going to continue the coaching path no matter what. I know there are a lot of WNBA players who do coach, so it's not something that I wouldn't be opposed to. If it does happen, it happens. I'll give it a shot. But I'm great in the career that I am. I love coaching. But like I said, I'm a player still at heart. So we'll see what happens.
Well, with Cheryl Swoop, Cynthia Cooper, Dawn Staley, who knows? Maybe you'll run into one of those peers and they can give you some feedback. Anyone you want to say hi to that might watch this game?
Everybody in Minnesota, support. We're here. Come to the game. You can't make it today, May 24th, Target Center.
Well, thank you very much, Kachine, and great to catch up with you and hear all of your accolades and adventures and continued success down the road.
Thank you.
Welcome back to North Central University. Mike Peden here with Alex Nagel, and you mentioned Kachine Alexander's success at Iowa. As we said, a Gophers killer. She just had a lot of energy, and for a player her size, you don't expect someone to rebound with the proficiency she did, but she impressed a lot of folks down in Iowa City.
Oh, no question about it. And she's very strong, Mike. You look at her, you can see how strong that she really is. And she uses that strength in her body to get herself in position to grab a lot of rebounds that maybe other players couldn't get. Credit this Kansas Nugget team, Mike, behind hot shooting with Leah Cotton and Dan Hall-Jones propelled them to this 20-16 lead here at the end of one quarter.
Both players have contributed 8 points. Alexander for three. That's short, but she gets her own rebound on cue. We see her proficiency on the boards and on the drive. She's up to 8.
Strong play.
Hall-Jones, bullseye.
Look out.
Her second tray.
Kansas showing no ill effects from that long trip up I-35 from Kansas City, Mike.
Remember, they do have a game under their belts. Tanisha Scott found the hole and punched through. I imagine she knows a thing or two, again, with her very talented and athletic family. Her brother, PJ, played at Ohio State and has played overseas over the last several years. Cotton to Buffalo, inside to Campbell Santoya, and she posts up on Alexander for the bucket. Back and forth, Ellis-Milan fouls her old teammate. And look at Leah Cotton's reaction.
Oh, I tell you what, she's pumped up tonight, Mike. She made a very good defensive play there, stealing the ball from Ashley Ellis-Milan, who had no idea what was coming from behind her.
In the game for the Nuggets is number 22, Latasha Johnson. Gets the ball now, but loses it as Alexander stripped the ball away. January bringing it up and throws it to the Kansas head coach, Sarah Campbell, who is not one of the eligible players.
I think our good friend, the late Tony Gear, would have had something to say about that.
That was one of his cardinal rules. Whoever you pass the ball to, do not pass it to anyone on the bench. Buffalo can't get the mid-range J. Santoya draws the foul, and that's on Alexander.
One thing I'm going to be very interested in the halftime statistics, Mike, is the rebounding. I think right now, you look at Kansas, they've got a definite advantage on the boards. Certainly from an offensive rebounding standpoint.
And I believe that's her third. They aren't keeping track of fouls in this game, but we'll see what happens. At the line is Campbell Santoya. Santoya, 4 points and 5 rebounds in the season opening victory. Also making her first appearance for the Nuggets is number 3, Brittany Bronson. Santoya comes up empty on the free throw line. Kansas 2-of-4 from the charity stripe. Minnesota a perfect 6 of 6.
Whoa.
Scott for 3.
Needed that.
And it's a 2-point game, 25-23. Hall Jones feeling it.
Look. She seemed to literally hang in the air for eternity before being able to uncork that shot.
Showing a little airtime. And she's up to 13 points. Pamela January finally gets on the board. The DJ's got some music. It's really loud. They've been having some issues with the music equipment over there, and stepping on the baseline is Brittany Bronson, so that's a turnover on the Nuggets.
Good job by the Black Ice here, cutting the gap to a single possession.
Scott. This time it's Ellis-Milan on the inside feed. Someone's got to talk to the DJ crew because that music is driving me crazy. It's intermittent all over the place. Hall Jones missing the short-range shot. Alexander spin move.
Oh my goodness! My goodness!
And a timeout by Sarah Campbell as Minnesota retakes the lead, 29-27.
The Black Ice certainly look rejuvenated here, Mike. They've been able to take control of this game, get a small lead. Give a lot of credit to this team, Mike, after struggling somewhat offensively early on.
Kachine Alexander, the first player to break double digits for Minnesota. I'm not sure how many fouls Alexander has, but whatever the number is,
yeah,
she's ignoring it on the floor.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do. If you can put those negatives out of your mind and just play, you should be okay.
Well, and she's accustomed to it. And she's dealt with that situation many times in her high school and playing career. We talk about her Iowa days. Don't forget, she did win a state championship in 2006 with Benilde St. Margaret's.
That's right.
Under the direction of Bob Lyons. Was also the victim of a prank from her roster this past season as Cotton gets the hook shot to fall. We'll talk more about that later, but Leah Cotton is swabbing up the score right now.
So versatile. She can score not only from behind the arc, but she can get into the lane, right into the paint and score with a lot of big bodies around her.
Her career high at Minnesota in a game was 26 points. She might threaten
Oh my goodness.
Ashley Ellis-Milan goes to the line. Ellis-Milan with 8 points. As you mentioned, an assistant coach at Minneapolis South, does a lot of work with youth programs, and that was something she had always wanted to do when she graduated, and took some heat at the end of her Gophers career when she left in 2010, but at an alumni event that she and Emily Fox took part in, she was greeted with a warm reception by the Gophers fan base. So whatever ill feelings there were towards Ellis-Milan, they have vanished long ago, and that's a good sign.
Yes.
Ellis-Milan splits.
Remember her days well at St. Paul Central, Mike.
She got to a few state tournaments,
Yes, she
finished,
did.
I believe, third in 05. Scored over 2,000 career points. One of Willie Taylor's many Division I recruits.
Jap in a lot of trouble there, and that caused a turnover.
Big time trouble. No look pass. Brianna Edwards recovers the time for the score. Tanisha Scott finding her targets.
All of a sudden, the Black Ice looking very proficient in their fast break opportunities, Mike.
They're up by 3, 32-29 with 5:23 left in the second quarter. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Cotton can't get help off the screen. Paul Jones has to get rid of it. She does. She beats the buzzer but can't put it in. Ellis-Milan with the board.
Oh!
Double dribble violation, although Hall Jones was sneaking up on her anyway. The problem there for the Black Ice, everybody moved up, and Ellis-Milan's not a ball handler.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those miscommunication problems that the Black Ice are going to have to sort out as this game progresses.
I should say she's not the handler you want moving the ball up the floor. She can handle the ball quite well, just not in the guard slot.
From that point, probably not where you want to have her doing that.
No foul called, but they follow through by Joppa.
Great rebound by Ash.
I
was just going to say, great offensive rebound by Ashley Joppa there.
Tanisha Gilbert on the floor, played for a year at Minnesota. That's Sully for 3, off the heel. Alexander in position for the offensive rebound, gets in trouble, and draws the foul.
Talk about
that's a bailout if
you talk
I
about,
ever saw one.
You talk about Tanisha Gilbert. I remember her days well when she was a gangly player at Champlin Park back in the day.
Was a member of the old Minnesota Jaguars team and also moonlighted on the Minnesota Machine football team. Sally can't get the layup, and the rebound by Hall Jones. Cotton bouncing it, and the push foul on Gilbert, much to the dismay of Faith Johnson-Patterson. And we're going with, I thought we were going by the quarter system or the pro system, but we're going with halves, so Kansas is in the bonus and will be for the final 4:12 of the half. That will send Ashley Joppa to the line. This is a 1-on-1, and she comes up empty. Scott's open. No. And Gilbert has been called for 2 quick fouls, and that's a loose ball foul, so more free throws coming for Kansas. Oh, nope, they do call it team control foul. Nope, they get it sorted out. It's always tough in those situations.
Yeah, no kidding.
It always fools me. That was a loose ball foul. No, they're going to reverse the call.
Wow.
So put the foul on Kansas, and that puts Minnesota in the bonus. Brianna Sally goes to the line. Sally played a year for Minnesota, but then left to,
I believe it was Seattle where she went.
No, she took part in an 11-month-long Christian program.
Yeah, and I want to say she was at Seattle University for a while.
But now they sorted out. Well, we got Sally a plug, at least that much is certain. But Tanisha Gilbert was the person who was fouled, so she does have to go to the line, and she is there now. That rims out. Both teams trade empty possessions in the front end of 1-on-1s. Hall Jones, bounce pass. Oh, it's Alexander. You don't want to pass in her direction. Finds a cutting Gilbert, but she can't slice through to the basket. Cotton rips the rebound away. She has numbers. Goes through the hole and draws a foul on Scott. Cotton, the only player to hit free throws on Kansas's roster at the moment.
Leah Cotton doing it all tonight. Getting rebounds, scoring.
She connected with a lot of folks up here, and I did talk to her a little bit. show you more details in my interview with her at halftime. She mentioned after the firing of Pam Borton that basketball is a business, and sometimes we forget about that.
That is true.
But she was very respectful, appreciative of the time she had under Pam Borton, and again, understanding it's a business and sometimes you need to change direction. Cotton, a 4 of 4 from the line, 12 points overall. Kansas up front, 33-32, with 3:30 left in the second. Sally, she's open, reverse layup. Doesn't fall, but she'll shoot free throws.
Strong move by Brianna Sally along the baseline there.
Fouls on Japa. We should note there is a distinguished guest among the spectators here tonight, and that would be Trent Tucker,
Oh, yes.
the district athletic director for Minneapolis Public Schools, and you may know him as Sally gets a friendly bounce. You may recognize him from his days in the NBA, whether it was
Particularly as a Chicago Bull.
the Trent Tucker rule,
Yeah.
won a championship in '93, and he was also a commentator for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He and Kevin Harlan were a duo for a few years, and they hit it off quite well. His trademark phrase was, "I feel you, young fella," often a reference to Kevin Garnett. Back to action here. Sally hits both free throws, and Minnesota's up in front. That's deflected off of Minnesota, so we'll stay here. Minnesota, fairly accurate. The call is reversed, so the Black Ice will get it.
Second reverse call we've had here so far tonight, Mike. You don't see that very often.
Thank goodness we don't have a review system, or we'd be here until midnight. Actually, I would just hang around because I have a Lynx game tomorrow over at Target Center. Sally, ooh, faked the baseline drive. I thought she had a lane open. Ellis-Milan and one.
That didn't look like your most aesthetic shot necessarily, but she made the most of that opportunity.
All that
and now
matters
goes to
is
the
that
charity
you-
stripe.
All that matters is you putting the ball inside the basket.
Exactly right.
Speaking of unexpected aesthetics, I remember in a win over Iowa, I believe it was her junior season, the highlight of that game was when she took a wide open three-pointer. The defense gave her the top of the key, and she figured, oh, what the heck, fired and banked it, and that effectively clinched a victory for the Golden Gophers that day. Averaged over 11 points per game in her junior season, and she completes a three-point play. Minnesota now 10 of 12 from the charity stripe. Kansas 4 of 6. And the Black Ice up by their largest margin thus far, and they could extend it after Alexander gets the rebound. Here comes Sally. Pass deflected, but Scott is there for the recovery. Ball was last touched by Hall Jones. Kansas intercepting the passing lanes on this possession.
Very aggressive defensively, yes, especially when you get into the passing lanes and disrupt the offensive rhythm of the Black Ice here.
Scott. Look out, Gilbert was in trouble, stepped on the line. Led her a little too far with that pass. English was blocked.
I think Sally got a piece of that one.
2 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Women's blue chip basketball. Opening game for Minnesota, the second game of the season for Kansas. Paul Jones working off the high screen. What a nice bank.
And off the glass, no less.
I thought she would get lost underneath those Black Ice defenders, but her 5'4" frame didn't stop her. She's up to 15 points. Ellis-Milan tried to bounce pass to Sally. That didn't work. Alexander will settle things down. Scott Off to Sally, top of the key. Bullseye.
I did not see that one coming, but she was true on that shot.
That's her first field goal, and the Black Ice extend their largest lead of the game to 5.
Wow.
Left open on the baseline cut was Jade Tinner.
Little lapse defensively on the Black Ice there. Let her get too far open.
Kansas
Down
spotted
low.
it and took it home. Scott faked the drive. Gilbert drawing a lot of coverage. Sally's open.
Ooh.
That rims out. Less than a minute. Paul Jones works around the token full court pressure and draws the foul. Count it!
My goodness. Just what she's done in this first half alone is nothing short of amazing.
And she was just as dazzling last week. Had 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. In the opening season win. Season opening win, I should say. Had a metathesis moment. We're tied at 40 after Hall Jones completes the three-point play. She is up to 18 points. As we mentioned, scored 22 last week. On pace to break that mark here. Alexander tried the inside feed, but too much traffic. Alexander pokes the ball away. Alexander doing phenomenal things for Minnesota.
Her body was going one way, but she was able to get the reverse one on the right side.
Gets the steal and the finish. She's up to a dozen. Kansas can hold for the final shot. 10 seconds. Cotton aware of the clock. Telling her players where to go. Sees a hole. Goes up against Alexander. No. Santoya's fouled. That foul was before the buzzer.
Wow. Now let's see what they do here, Mike.
Well, they should give her free throws. They may add a couple tenths of a second on the clock. We know for sure Santoya will shoot a pair, so Kansas can't take the lead here. They can tie it. And from the looks of it, they will not put any time on the clock, so this will end the first half, whatever happens on Santoya's end.
Sometimes those free throws where you're out there on the line all by yourself are the toughest ones to make.
And it's not a skill everyone emphasizes with equal importance. But we know how influential they are. You remember Eastview's victory in the 4A state championship, and throughout that tournament run, they had a load of sharpshooters available, and free throws got them to the championship.
I got to tell you, Mike, that was the best night of basketball I've ever seen.
Carrie Opatz, Melissa Giebert, and Amy Udo, all brilliant free throw shooters, and got the Lightning the state championship. Santoya does split. So that gives Minnesota a 42-41 lead as we enter halftime intermission. We will take a break and bring you that Leah Cotton interview as we mentioned earlier, and come back with first half stats and analysis. This is Women's Blue Chip Basketball on TSB Television.
Mike Peden here with a familiar face in the confines of Minnesota, Leah Cotton, although now you are representing your home state of Kansas in this instance. So give us a synopsis. What have you been up to since graduating from Minnesota?
Since graduating from Minnesota, I've just become a coach for Warrior Hoops AAU program down in Kansas City, Kansas. I've also joined the semi-pro team, the Kansas Nuggets, also down there, and then I'm just trying to make my way overseas.
Is there a sense of surrealism coming up here where you played in college and you got to know a lot of folks from the area, and now you'll be playing against one of your old teammates tonight, Ashley Ellis-Milan? I guess, what is that feeling like?
I mean, it's different. I played with Ash for 1 year, so it's not, too much of an attachment there. But, I mean, it's different. Definitely coming up here, seeing familiar faces, seeing people that I haven't seen in a few months, honestly. But it's good.
Well, we'll find somebody else and see just how awkward it gets for you. No, we're kidding. And So what did you learn from your years at Minnesota that has helped you with this AAU job you speak of now and continuing this career of yours?
The difficulties of being a coach. Honestly, that was something that was put into perspective for me. But, just learning the game more so, learning, where to be, just more so just not necessarily the mechanics of the game, but just getting a better understanding of where to be and what to do.
What is different about this level compared to what you went through at college where you had a routine, you had your games, practices, and now here it's structure, but it's not as formulaic as it might be at the bigger levels?
Yeah, this level is very different because everything is optional. Whether you want to play or not, what you eat, what you do, how you manage your time, all of that stuff is up to you. In college, it's regulated for you, So it's definitely more responsibility, but it's a lot of freedom is a lot of fun for me, so that's good.
And at the same time, does it also instill some measures of self-discipline that you don't get in college? As you mentioned, you have to provide your own incentive for doing this, so how does that motivate you?
It's something that you love to do. If you don't love it, you won't do it. Simple as that. And being here on this team with an amazing group of young ladies, that's my motivation for coming here, trying to work as hard as they do in and out. So it's fun.
What led you to coaching? What attracted you to that element of the sport?
Honestly, I got my degree in a form of counseling, so I did not want to be a coach at all. But some kind of way I ended up getting in that field and got to do what I wanted to do through coaching. So that's why I ended up being a coach.
So did someone come to you for an offer, or how did you become the coach of the AAU program and the Warriors team?
Well, it was actually my coach, who was my high school coach and my AAU coach as well. It's his program. So he asked me to come on board and coach a few teams, and I was more than happy to do so.
And you've had some time now away from Minnesota, maybe going back to those days. What do you miss most about it? What did you learn from that? And just what was some things you took away when you hung up your maroon and gold jersey?
What I miss most is the people. Definitely miss the people. You form relationships here that will last a lifetime, and when you're so close to some people for 4 years and then you just pull that away, that's difficult sometimes. But, you learn to just grow up. Things happen. Not everything stays the same. So go home and keep pushing on.
And then you may have heard the news that Minnesota has just changed their head coach, and so I guess you mentioned developing an attachment to all of these players. And so when you heard the news, maybe what was your reaction to that? And I guess what do you think that offers to maybe the school and to the people involved as they move forward?
It's one thing I feel like we forget sometimes is it's a business. It's not just a family attachment or a coach who's here or players who are here to stay. It's a business, and some things happen that you don't want to, and you just got to learn how to push through it.
And what are you looking? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
What are you looking forward to the most tonight? Getting to play again in your old college state. You're here on a 1-0 record, so you're looking to stay undefeated. So what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to coming out here playing a hard game in front of familiar faces. So I know it's going to be a good game because we don't like to back down. So it should be fun.
Anyone you want to say hi to that might be watching this game?
Hey to everybody I went to school with, my coaches, whoever it is. Hey to everybody.
Thanks for speaking with us, Leah, and good luck with your coaching and whatever your career excursions take you. We wish you continued success.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Clark Danielson Gymnasium here at North Central University. Mike Peden here with Alex Nagel. Women's blue chip basketball here on TSB television. The Minnesota Black Ice and the Kansas Nuggets going at it. Let's take a look at the first half stats. Minnesota up 42-41. Ashley Ellis-Milan and Kachine Alexander have 12 points each to lead the Black Ice. Tanisha Scott has 7. Brianna Sally has 5. Brianna Edwards has 4. Kansas a bit more concentrated. Dayan Hall-Jones has 18 points. Leah Cotton has 12. Campbell Santoya has 5. Jay Tinner has 4. But a little more balance on Minnesota's end. How do you think that will benefit the Black Ice in the second half?
Well, you talk about the balance. I think that'll have to benefit them coming down in the second half here, Mike, where they don't have to rely, so heavily on Kachine Alexander or Ashley Ellis-Milan down low. If they can get some more scoring production from other players, they'll get Milan and Kachine Alexander some more opportunities, hopefully. You know, I think what's interesting also about this first half, you know, it started out relatively slow from a scoring standpoint, but once the scoring got going, it really picked up in a hurry.
And as I've noted, it's really fun to see so many of these players that in both our cases, we've followed this sport long enough where we've grown up following the careers of some of them, Cotton being one of them, and then all of the names on Minnesota's roster. Tomorrow Moore, the oldest player, and again, not here because of her graduation. But a lot of stories littered on the Minnesota program.
Well, you know, earlier this evening, I was asking Faith Johnson Patterson how those first few practices went, and it was interesting because she made reference to some of the old rivalries that still exist between the players that are on the team right now. So, you know, I think they're way over that, but you know, it kind of brings an interesting dynamic to this whole mix.
And another one of those stories, Pamela January, who we've called a couple of times, was an assistant coach at Richfield this past season. Of course, her younger sister, a well-known standout, now playing at DePaul. Pamela played at South Dakota and would like to continue coaching at some point. She misses the three-pointer. Minnesota wearing the white jerseys, Kansas wearing the black, and Pamela January also has some vocal abilities, sung the national anthem coming out of high school. Hall Jones missed a three-pointer.
One of the few that she's missed so far tonight.
It seems that way. We don't have official numbers, and Tanisha Scott tried a behind-the-back pass to her coaching assistant, and Ashley Ellis-Milan needed about a couple more inches in her wingspan to get that one. Hitting the 14-footer is Brittany English for her first basket of the game. Again, international rules, so 10-minute quarters, 24-second shot clock. Fouls are tabulated for each half. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Scott launches an NBA three and buries it.
Buried it indeed.
That came out of nowhere. I'm not sure anyone was expecting her to pull up.
Nice screen out there in the perimeter by Pam January, too.
Joppa, no. Ellis-Milan. She can get herself established in the paint. Very tough to contain.
Oh, nice pass.
And this time, the two coaches on Minneapolis South synchronize.
And synchronize well, I may add.
Kansas overloaded the perimeter, left the baseline wide open. Ellis-Milan took it home. Cotton faking the three. Working off the screen from English.
Oh.
Draws the foul on Alexander. No, she is called for the elbow.
Alexander's still down. I wonder if she might have bumped her head a little bit. It looks like she's all right.
Needed a moment to recollect herself.
That was quite a collision down there for sure.
Says she's okay. And there's reason for that. Her mother is in attendance watching this game. By the way, that prank that was pulled by her players, the Concordia players, Wilson had space but was blocked by 33, and she'll draw the blocking foul on Cotton. I'm a bit surprised by that. So the prank involved the Concordia players raiding the offices of the coaches and filling the room with balloons. Ellis-Milan, that shot was off.
I can see Concordia's Rachel Hansen having her hand in that one.
Rachel Hansen, a Minnehaha graduate, I believe.
Won the state tournament.
I believe she just finished up
yep,
her.
She just finished up, yep.
And she won a state tournament in 2010 for the Red Hawks. Kachine Alexander thought it was a funny joke, but Cotton can't beat the buzzer and a shot clock violation. She thought it was a funny joke, but said that it took a while to get all the balloons out of the offices. It was a helium-infested situation. Wilson, 2. No. Rebound, Joppa. Cotton with a full burst of speed. She pulls up for the elbow shot. And Kachine Alexander got the rebound but fell out of bounds. You're not going to falter for that effort, though.
No, I think Alexander was expecting the foul call there, and she didn't get it.
Officiating is not a fine science.
No.
Cotton. January strips her. She attacks and scores anyway. 47-45 the score. With 6.5 left in the third quarter. Scott launches one from 16. Switch. Scott has put up a quiet multitude of points. She has a dozen. Cotton out to Joppa, and she missed the three-pointer. January with the rebound. Finds a racing Alexander. Hooks up with Wilson for the finish.
Nice transition opportunity there by the Black Ice, Mike.
Tempest Wilson with her first field goal.
They have a 6-point lead as well.
Cotton off the screen. Bullseye. Cotton up to 17.
Just when you think the Black Ice might be on the verge of building a bit of a cushion.
Well, they have found little success in stopping Cotton and Hall Jones. Wilson gets free of Cotton but can't put down the long two. Here's Hall Jones. Quiet so far in the third. She finds Joppa open, but she can't hit the baseline jumper, and January comes up with the board. Scott has space, breaks through the double team, but comes up empty. Hall Jones used up the dribble. Finds Tinner, and Joppa came up with it, and I think Alexander stripped the ball away. Ellis-Milan on the fast break.
What a play by Kachine Alexander down on the other end, Mike.
Sarah Campbell calls timeout. Ashley Ellis-Milan with 16 points. 4 minutes, 33 seconds left in the third.
Well, now we see the Black Ice starting to get into some transition opportunities here and making the most of it.
53-48 the score in favor of Minnesota. As we mentioned, Ashley Ellis-Milan scored over 1,000 points in her career. Her best year was her junior season. Second overall on the team with 11.9 points per game. Emily Fox was the top scorer in those days, but led the team in rebounding, averaging 7.3 a game.
Another member on that Minnesota Black Ice team that we really haven't had the chance to talk about tonight is Brittany McSperrin. Played collegiately at Drake and hails from Eastview. She was at a few state tournaments for the Lightning back in her high school days.
We haven't spoken of her because she hasn't taken the floor. McSperrin did play at Drake for a couple of years, then transferred to a Division II school to finish out her collegiate career. A member of Eastview, as you mentioned. Of course, all those teams who just came up short in those state tournament runs.
They finally got over the hump this last season.
Eastview had so many great players over the years, and Hall Jones drives to the top of the key for the layup. Hall Jones with 20, 3-point game. Scott in trouble, finds January. January races inside, a similar play to Hall Jones.
Nice move there by Pamela January.
The oldest of three in her family. Ellis-Milan on the defensive play. Stopped Latasha Johnson. Now she beat Santoya, but didn't have the right shooting angle.
Boy, great spin move down there by Ashley Ellis-Milan. She just couldn't connect her when it counted.
And we talk about court spacing, and this is not to suggest her court spacing is off the mark, but it's such an important part, especially in posting up.
Yep.
I mean, as you said, great spin move, but she had a harsh angle to work with, and it can be really tough to put the ball in there in that situation. But Minnesota's still up by 5, and there is Brittany McSparron making her first appearance in this game, wearing number 14. Oh, Jones,
goodness.
Another tray.
Look out.
2-point game. McSparron was selected to represent the Coaches Association All-Star Series back in 2007, or 2008, I should say. Ellis-Milan is fouled by Johnson and will go to the line.
Ashley Ellis-Milan always struck me as a blue-collar type of player. You know, not afraid to get down low and do the dirty work. She's really excelled, in my humble opinion.
And she had to fight through an ACL tear in her freshman year that sidelined her in the very first practice of the season. Splits there. Cotton. What speed, set course for the basket. I'm running out of adjective to describe her agility. Brianna Edwards, count it. I thought she was a bit far out for that layup, but rolled it in.
Yeah, she just had perfect touch on that, Mike. She really had to stretch.
Edwards, as we said, a member of Providence in the old Big East. Of course, Providence still in the Big East Conference.
The new Big East Conference.
The reformatted conference, and a member of Minneapolis North. Came close to winning a state championship in 2009, fell short against St. Michael Albertville.
Remember that game well.
I do too. That was my revenge game after Tony had his fun with the Central South game the previous year. He thought North would pull it out, and I thought the roster was too young. And she doesn't like rehashing that, but it hasn't discouraged her from continuing her pursuits of basketball. Johnson on the fadeaway, no. Gets her own rebound and isn't sure what to do. She finds Cotton.
3-second call there, I would think.
Cotton passes, and draining the triple is Jade Tinner. Cotton with the assist.
Not at 58.
We should know Cotton had 10 assists in the season opening win for Kansas last week, so she can dish the ball as well as score. Ross, short. McSparron with the O-board. Ross again. No. Hall Jones has a chance to give Kansas the lead. Cotton for 3. That would have been huge. Scott steps into a 3. That bounces out. A lot of perimeter play as of late.
Give this Kansas team a lot of credit for hanging in her, Mike, especially when they were down by 5.
I think the largest lead for either team has been 6. 3 seconds on the shot clock, and stripped from behind is Hall Jones. Scott is on the run. Transition chance. Edwards had work around Cotton and follows her own shot.
What a play.
Edwards, very intelligent move, saw Cotton was in position for a charge, so Edwards went up, got her own rebound because Cotton was in a standing position, and Edwards has 8 points. Johnson in trouble, finds Santoya on the bounce pass. No, but the putback for Brittany English, her second field goal. She's up to 4 points. Minnesota, they're not going to go for 2 for 1 here, it looks like. But that's all right, there's still another quarter. We're tied at 60. Scott, out to McSparron. She drives inside. Wow! Oh, baby, what a play!
Reminds me of some of the things she did when she was at Eastview, Mike.
Led by Paul Gates in those years.
Yep.
Who's now the head coach of the boys program. But they're in good hands with Melissa Giebert.
I'd certainly say so.
Well, I suppose it goes without saying, you win a state championship. That's obvious, isn't it? Tony would have had fun there. McSparrow converts on the three-point play. Kansas can hold for the final shot. And tie it up with a tray. Cotton goes inside. Santoya loses the handle, cleans it up in time, but throws up a wild shot. There's 0.6 of a second left. Not enough time to move the ball down the court, so Minnesota may run out the clock here. Well, there's enough time to get one shot off if they can find somebody. And that may go in the blooper reel.
Entertaining third quarter for sure, Mike.
No offense to Brianna Edwards, but that came up a little bit short. End of the third quarter, 63-60. We'll take a break and bring you the last of our player interviews. Actually, we had the chance to speak with Brianna Edwards, and so we'll take you to that interview right now.
I'm here with Brianna Edwards, who just got back from her excursion at Providence, and I understand you just got a graduate degree under your belt?
Actually, I have 1 year completed of graduate school under my belt, so it was pretty exciting. I did the counseling program, so I guess I achieved one of my goals of completing my first year in my master's, so that was exciting.
So the next year, I suppose, you have a timetable for that, or what's your plan?
I actually am planning to go overseas. Hopefully, I'll leave at the end of August, and then I plan on playing for about roughly 5 years. Well, as long as my body can possibly take, but roughly 5 years, and then come back, finish my master's, and then go into my career in broadcasting and journalism.
And what led you to this team and getting back into playing? Because you took a year off for graduate school from Providence, and now you're suiting up once more.
Well, I missed the game. Like, basketball is my passion ultimately, and not playing was stressful. And then me leading to this team was that my high school coach is the head coach, and of course that's a great opportunity for me to play for my high school coach again, which would be amazing. So, and then it's a great roster. Like, a bunch of the girls I know from high school either watched them or played against them and played with them, so it was just an awesome experience.
Is there a sense of surrealism playing for your old high school coach, and not just having that, but having a few other North graduates alongside you?
It is actually kind of crazy. I thought that when I played my last game, it was like my last game of her ever coaching me, so it was like kind of exciting to be able to play against her, play under her again, and then possibly play for a championship, because I haven't won one. So, and I did lose in high school, so it's just ultimately the best thing for me to do is to achieve the championship that I want under her, with her.
Well, we won't rehash those memories.
Yes, we will not. We are not.
But, that notwithstanding, you were a hidden gem of sorts. You went to North, but it was when the school was on the verge of perhaps closing, and then you go to a school in the Big East, not one of the major players, with UConn and Rutgers, and at the time Louisville, and all of these other schools. How did you go about that journey where you had talents, but not necessarily the spotlight that some of your contemporaries had?
Well, it just made me work harder. Not being that big name and not being that person everybody turns to, it just made me want to outwork the people that everybody turned to. And that was my mentality in high school, and it tripled my mentality in college, because I felt that I worked just as hard, was just as talented, maybe even better than some of those players. So I just made it my goal to outwork them, and every time we stepped on the court to destroy them, literally. So that was just my goal. Ultimately, I had to do that for myself personally.
Have you calculated your damage total yet?
No, I haven't. So hopefully, in a couple years, ultimately, a goal of mine that I did put to the back burner because I didn't have enough confidence in myself was playing in the WNBA, and I think that if I put the time and effort in, I can achieve that goal. So hopefully I can get them back when we all play on the same floor again, because most of them are in the WNBA now.
Well, we'll check those insurance claims in a couple of years to see how much damage you've racked up. But as we mentioned, you came close, didn't win a state title, but some of your younger teammates were able to parlay their time at North and then have some success down there. So how did you guide those younger prodigies, Tyshana Johnson, Alina Starr, who are now playing Division I basketball after they had a lot of success in high school?
Well, I just kind of accepted them for who they were. They were athletes, regardless of how old they were. They were going to compete. They were going to come out there and they're going to give 110%. So that was easy for me. My job was just to lead them in the right direction. It was basically leading by example. It wasn't a lot of me talking. I mean, if I had to correct them on something. But besides that, they were their own individuals. And it showed because when they got to high school, they did what they were supposed to do. And now they're in college and they're doing amazing. So it was just them. It was amazing to have kids that were willing to follow.
And what opportunities and what kind of advocacy does a team like the Black Ice offer to the Twin Cities area? We haven't had a semi-pro team for a few years, and we're getting a bunch of old folks. Old by our standards. What is that feeling like?
I think it's a great opportunity because, you know, the NBA has the D League and the WNBA doesn't have a league. So if you don't play overseas, you're not going to be able to play in your country. And I think it just provides an opportunity for people that have the talent to play in the WNBA but didn't get the opportunity to play there. So they can have this platform that they can show their skills to everybody. And then maybe this could potentially lead to some people going over and trickling over to the WNBA. We never know, but it's just an opportunity that wasn't present before.
And to kind of touch on our conversation, I guess, what does it mean to have yourself, all of these older North players, Tyree Ross, Daria Frazier, and then Tamara Moore, I don't know if she'll play tonight, but she's on this team. The coach who helped you get all these state titles or get you to state tournaments, how does that kind of symbolize what the North side of Minneapolis has done for the sport of basketball?
It's amazing to play. For one, Daria's my cousin. And Tyree, I grew up watching him play. Tamara, I grew up watching him play. And to be able to go back to where it all started from the beginning, which North is where I started it ultimately, and to be able to display that we are all accomplished and really successful women, I think that's just amazing for us to do. It just shows the girls that even you come from the north side of Minneapolis and you actually can make something of yourself. Like Tamara, she has her bachelor's. Tyree, she has her bachelor's. Daria has her bachelor's. I have my bachelor's. 1 year my master's completed. So it's awesome so that girls can see that we can actually accomplish things outside of basketball.
As a college graduate myself, that diploma, that degree is a very distinguished achievement.
Yes, it definitely is. It definitely is. It was amazing feeling to graduate from college. I never thought in a million years that I would be there, but when I did, it was like amazing.
And what are you looking forward to tonight? Now you finally get a chance to play.
To win. I'm a competitor. So regardless on how well in shape I'm in or if my shot's falling, I'm going to compete regardless. So I'm just looking to get the W and have fun and put on a good show ultimately too. So.
Anyone you want to say hi to that will be watching this game?
My mommy, but she'll be watching it from the stands. You're probably going to hear her on camera. She's going to be really loud. But my mom, of course, she's my biggest supporter, the person that I look to for advice. So that's the only person I want to say hi to is my mother.
I'll bring earplugs just in case.
Yes, might need them. She's going to get real loud.
Well, thanks, Brianna Edwards. Good luck, and great to see you back here in uniform.
Thank you. I appreciate the interview.
We're having a little fun here with Pharrell Williams and his effervescent, ecstatic, enthusiastic #1 hit, Happy. And Minnesota in happy spirits right now as we start the fourth quarter. 63-60 the score. And no fouls in that period for the Black Ice.
You know, I think it's going to be really critical for the Minnesota Black Ice to somehow try and contain Leah Cotton and Dayon Hall-Jones, because I would expect when things are tight in the closing minutes that they're really going to, just unleash whatever they can.
Santoya. Doesn't have range from the free throw line, but has perimeter abilities. Hasn't done well from the charity stripe, but puts the margin to 1. Mitch Sperring missing the three-pointer. And Edwards gets it off Santoya to keep it on the Black Ice end. Brianna Edwards, by the way, is a diehard Los Angeles Lakers fan. Not looking forward to the day when Kobe Bryant retires. That's an over-the-back foul on Edwards.
33 away.
Edwards makes up for it, though, gets the deflection, and McSparron with the steal.
Great defensive play there by Edwards.
Ross found Edwards, or tried to. And Edwards isn't happy about that steal. She's going to frustrate Cotton as much as she can. Cotton pulls up from 14, comes up short, and the rebound by Brianna Sally. Edwards, no. And she takes the tumble. Players are diving all over the place.
McSparron went on the floor too.
There will be a few floor burns. Hall Jones reads the jump. We have a foul. The question is who?
Gotta sort this out here.
It's on Johnson for an elbow. So the Black Ice will get the ball. This game mirroring the meeting between the last Minnesota semi-pro team in Kansas. That was a close game that went to overtime. I don't know if we'll get overtime here. The only difference is a few more points. And the end of the fourth quarter was just as crazy.
Yes.
Ellis-Milan kicks out to Ross. Wants the three. Can't get the three. Sally. Fought for the rebound, and a dead ball rebound to the Black Ice.
It's funny, this is the first time I've ever seen Brianna Sally play, and she's bigger, a lot bigger than what I thought she was.
Well, for me, this is the first time I've seen her play, Scott and Tyree Ross. Sally to Ellis-Milan, and the foul.
Beautiful finish there by Ashley Ellis-Milan.
Ellis-Milan, her playing days, at least her professional career, may be behind, but she still has some moves.
Oh, definitely.
And maybe it's not done.
Far from it, I think.
And maybe on the verge of a huge program at South. Has struggled a bit from the free throw line, but she has 19 points, so you can't fault her too much. Hall Jones can't get the bounce. And a dead ball rebound to the Nuggets.
I imagine that we'll be seeing a lot of the Minnesota Black Ice players in the upcoming summer league over at the Midtown YWCA.
There we go. That's what I want to hear. Leah Cotton wants to silence the defense DJ gesture. She has 21. That was more appropriate for a basketball scene. Sally for three. That rims out. McSparron gets the offensive rebound, and with the long distance shots, they have a higher probability for high caroms. Ross still can't hit it. McSparron with a second O-board. We'll try to go to Ellis-Milan inside. Bounce pass wasn't clean. She'll kick out to Scott. She can't bounce it. Sally leaps in for a third offensive rebound. McSparron wasn't ready for the pass and commits the foul.
After 3 offensive rebounds, a turnover. That has to hurt.
That won't please Faye Johnson-Patterson, who's pulling double duty this summer. You know, she coaches De La Salle in the winter. Has won 3 state championships there, but also coaches AAU, I believe, with the TCMS program. And coaching this team. Hall Jones pulls up.
Puts Kansas back in the lead.
66-65. Hall Jones with 25 points. Eight on the shot clock. Ellis-Milan sees it, tries the roll, but came up short. Very tough when you're not able to work your way inside, and you have to go across.
And that was kind of a bad angle for her, too.
Hall Jones pump fakes a three. Now works off the screen of Tinner for the 15-footer, which is pure.
You talk about clutch, Mike, especially in close games like that. She's really coming through.
Kansas up by 3, and Faith Johnson-Patterson will call timeout with 6 minutes and 11 seconds. You see the Minnesota fans, very partisan crowd here, getting a little restless now.
Well, it's kind of weird in that third quarter. Again, I thought they were on the verge of building a little bit of a cushion, at least getting control of things. And now all of a sudden, Kansas has gotten themselves a 3-point lead here.
Still a long way from over, though, with over 6 minutes to play. And we've seen, again, back and forth affairs. Nobody has led by more than 6.
Yep.
But how about the play of Dayon Hall-Jones? Went to the University of Missouri, Kansas City, 5 feet 4 inches, her listed height. I don't know if they gave her a couple of inches when you put the shoes on, but what a game.
How many points do you have her so far with unofficially, Mike?
27 unofficially, and she had 22 in her first game.
Yeah.
Hall-Jones doing big things for the Nuggets. And don't count out Leah Cotton. She has 21.
Yeah.
Those two have carried this program, much like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook do for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Well, and I'm looking for Kachine Alexander to hopefully get a late burst here, a late scoring burst. See if she can help propel the Minnesota Black Ice back into the lead here with 6:11 left.
Ellis-Milan has been the big producer, and Tanisha Scott has put up some solid numbers as well. Crunch time now. Scott found Alexander in a triple team, but Ruth Buffalo just swatted it away. Hall-Jones finds Cotton. Those two have been on fire.
My goodness.
And the flame continues to burn. Cotton with 23. Ellis-Milan on the outlet fade. Ellis-Milan matching her jersey number. We're feeling a little vibration. Seven on the shot clock. Cotton rims out. Buffalo can't get the follow through. Sally with the rebound. Weaves through one hole. Finds Alexander. Fouled, and it will be a blocking foul as Jay Tinner was in the restricted zone.
Kachine Alexander landed awfully awkwardly.
He's taking a lot of hits tonight.
Yes. Walking a little gingerly, too, after that nasty fall. But I think she's okay.
Two free throws. Minnesota 9 of 11, or 10 of 12, I should say. And since then, it's been a little harder to find the basket. Three of the last 7 after a 10 and 12 start. But it's a 2-point game with less than 5 minutes to play, an eternity in basketball time. Hall-Jones was hounded by Tanisha Scott and loses the ball.
One of the rare mistakes she's made all night, Mike.
Sally pump fakes the 3. Oh, that you have to make. But she gets it out, or I should say Ellis-Milan got the offensive rebound.
And that was a great move by Sally as well.
She had everyone fooled. And she fools Ellis-Milan. 70-68, 4:29 left in regulation. That pass was high, but Sally bails out Japa with the foul.
Jep has been relatively quiet from a scoring standpoint tonight. I'm not sure how many you have her with unofficially, Mike.
Just 2 points. Ashley Japa from Kansas City went to Oklahoma State. A program that recently sent off one of their prestigious recruits to the WNBA,
Yep.
Tiffany Bias, who
Yep.
was drafted in the second round by the Phoenix Mercury. An outstanding player for the Cowgirls. Japa splits. 3-point game. Again, we've been hovering around this margin throughout, regardless of the leader. No team is led by more than 6.
Wow. I didn't see the tip there, Mike, at all.
The official in the back court official was signaling a deflection, and he had the best angle, so I'll take his word. Are they going to count that? Yes!
Wow, what a move and what a finish.
I thought Tanisha Scott wasn't going to beat the clock. I wasn't even sure she noticed how much time was left.
And she did that with her left hand, too.
No review, so that stands. Now Kansas with 7 to shoot. Cotton, 16-footer. Oh, what a beauty.
Clutch, simply clutch.
We're back to a 3-point margin. Cotton with 25.
Seeing a lot of clutch plays here as we close in on the 3-minute mark, Mike.
I'd say she's developed from her days at Minnesota. January.
No.
That rims out. I believe that went off Alexander, yes.
Missed opportunity there for the Black Ice.
2:59 left, and Kansas has held on to the lead throughout much of this period.
January had a great look from the right corner, and it just didn't fall.
Decision time here. Tempest Wilson going back in for January. Both members of South Dakota. If I recall, I think I covered Wilson in an AAU game once. That's going to be a foul on Scott. Minnesota had 3 to give. And the officials stopped play because the clock had to reset. Shot clock always resets to 24 on a foul.
Kansas has got to play it smart here, Mike. Clinging to that somewhat precarious 3-point lead.
Offensive foul is called.
Wow.
Illegal screen.
Yep.
And it goes against Japa. Big chance here for Minnesota, and of course, way too much time to start jacking up threes, and I don't suspect they will.
Not unless somebody has a really great look. Oh, what a defensive play by Leah Cotton.
Sally tried the bounce pass, but Cotton is too quick for that. Two minutes to go. in trouble, and they're not going to beat the shot clock. Jade Tinner was swarmed by a double team, and Minnesota does get the shot clock violation, so they will get the ball back.
Black Ice definitely dodged the bullet there.
But they're running out of time. Edwards back on the floor for Minnesota. Alexander. Stripped by Cotton.
Second defensive play by Cotton in a row.
And Alexander with a strip in return. She caught Brittany English off guard by a wide margin. Wilson left alone. She'll take that shot, nothing. And now, if Kansas scores here, that would really put some pressure.
Yep. Kansas taking a timeout here.
No.
No, I thought
10-second violation.
Wow.
The shot
Sure
clock
enough.
has 13, and remember that we play with international rules. Minnesota
Wow.
will take a timeout.
Wow, that shocked me.
We play with international rules, so there is a backcourt rule.
Yeah.
It's 10 seconds.
Yep.
And Hall Jones not aware of that.
Wow, she got caught there.
She got caught. Crystal Flint was on it, and the officials in that situation will use the shot clock
Yeah.
as the guide.
Yep.
I mean, levels without a shot clock in high school, the officials have to count it. They can use the clock as a reference, but it really helps when you have a shot clock.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to count down the seconds. Now she's having a word with the owner, who's on the other side. Well, this game is taking some strange turns, much like the last time we saw a Kansas team up here.
Yeah.
Minnesota will have a weekend doubleheader next week. We won't be able to cover it because I'm going to be involved in that doubleheader of sorts. They will be playing at Target Center following the Lynx Liberty game next Saturday, and then Monday they will be playing at Chicago prior to the Monday matinee between the Minnesota Lynx and Chicago Sky. A lot of home games to start the year, and then they're going to take a lot of road trips, and they also will be going to Canada.
Now, Deion Hall-Jones was all over Tanisha Scott on that inbounds pass by the Black Ice.
Wilson on the drive, gets the finish. That was almost broken up, and it's a one-point game. Minnesota has 2 fouls to give here, but don't need to use them. Cotton with a brilliant performance tonight on both sides of the ball. Trying to draw a foul, and Edwards can't do so. She does it! Count it!
I ran out of superlatives about midway through the first half. But that was just simply an amazing play by Leah Cotton. I mean, especially in this kind of a situation, Mike.
Can make this a 2-possession game with a free throw. Scored 18 points in her first game, 28 here. Now Minnesota has to score, and quickly. Alexander. No, Edwards draws the foul. Kansas in the penalty. Not a bad situation for Minnesota. Because that stops the clock.
Well, if there was ever a time for Brianna Edwards to knock down a couple of free throws, it's right now.
But she comes up short. That's Minnesota's last to give. But they may have run out of time.
Brianna Sally ready to come back in.
We'll have another timeout, 22.5 seconds left. Basically, Minnesota has to play foul and chase here. Hope Kansas misses a few free throws, and They can work their way back.
You simply can't say enough about what Leah Cotton and Deion Hall-Jones have done tonight for this Kansas Nuggets team. Like, it's just really incredible.
The defensive outing in this quarter, 16-9 is the advantage Kansas has posted in the period. But as we noted, this is Minnesota's first time together. So there's some chemistry issues that will be addressed as the season goes on.
Yeah.
Whereas Kansas has a game under their belt. And remember, Minnesota had a game canceled.
Yep.
So that did them no favors. But as we said, this is not just about wins and losses. For all of these players, it's a springboard to either maybe a contract with the WNBA somewhere overseas, or even just for those who want to stay involved with the game. And you see Ashley Ellis-Milan and Brianna Sally sharing a laugh, even though their team is in a precarious situation here, down by 4.
It's, it really comes down to the competition. They love the competition, Mike, and that's why they love the game. That's why they're out here.
Yeah, it's just hard for them to step away. So Minnesota, if they can't get a steal here, will foul. Nope, they're going to foul right away. And that should be 2 shots automatically, because it was nope, they're going.
Well, are they going to discuss it here? Now they are. Sure enough.
For one, Minnesota was in the penalty anyway.
Yeah.
So I believe this will be 2 shots automatically, but we've had so many explanations and discussions. we'll wait and see what Dan John Holmes does. 27 points for Hall-Jones. And her jumper throughout this game on point. Makes both here, and now Minnesota really needs a 3-pointer if they're going to have a chance. They have a lot of time left, 22.5 seconds, but you're going to have to convert the 3-pointer.
Yeah, you're going to have to get a 3.
It's not impossible, but it's looking harder mathematically speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not only going to have to get the 3, but then you're going to somehow have to try and create a turnover, try and get the ball back. You no doubt guess that Kansas is going to do everything they can to get the ball into Leah Cotton's hands.
And Kansas is a solid program, and we've noted kind of the secondary motives behind this. Remember, Minnesota has not fielded a semi-pro team in 3 years. The Black Eyes, though, have an initiative. They want to reach out to the youth, form a partnership with the Lynx, which they're doing, and really establish themselves as a feeder system.
Here we go.
Solly's open.
What a shot by Brianna Sally. They have that one set up perfectly.
And plenty of time left. They only used up about 4 seconds.
That's just
Again, you're going to have to play foul and chase if you can't force a steal, but Sally making things a little more interesting.
Yeah. We've had so many plays here tonight, Mike.
Well, Minnesota, I will say this will help them down the road when they can get folks like Tamara Moore and Daria Frazier back. Another player who didn't suit up tonight, Jillian Berkey.
Yeah. She just gave birth here not too long ago.
But Minnesota with a lot more balance in their scoring. Ashley Ellis-Milan, the top player with 21 points. For Kansas, it's been primarily 2 players, Hall-Jones and Cotton. They've done really well. All right. Minnesota, if they can't get a steal here, will foul.
I'm not sure what happened. Kansas
there may have been another.
I think they did. They call a 30-second timeout or a full timeout?
Yes, it's a timeout.
Okay.
We know that much. Kansas had 3 remaining. Now they have 2. So we'll have a little more time to pontificate about some strategies and about some of these folks. Tyree Ross, that's somebody who I wanted to touch on, who's had some time tonight, but hasn't scored, but one of the many members of Faith Johnson Patterson's tree, coaching and playing.
Yeah.
Played at Creighton, then went to graduate school, decided not to complete her eligibility. She did graduate, though, with a degree at Creighton. This was when they were a Missouri Valley Conference member. And for the last few years, has been an assistant for Faith Johnson Patterson at De La Salle, and is the mother of 2 kids, a 3.5-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old brother. In her playing days at Minneapolis North, was known as Tyree Bronson and had some top-level talent with her. Maya Johnson, who played at Michigan State, and Larea Starr at Tennessee State. Minnesota trying to get the steal. They can't do so. They're going to have to get a foul here. And Ellis-Milan does, but 4 seconds of the clock elapse, and it's Dayan Hall-Jones who will go to the line.
Big free throws, obviously, without saying, but you have to say it.
Hall-Jones just needs to make 1 to make this a 2-possession game again. Whoever's watching this tape may write up an offer to Dayan Hall-Jones after this one.
Oh, boy.
Can you say impressive?
She's opened some eyes here tonight for sure.
The game's leading scorer. 31 points. And that will do it. Hall-Jones with the steal, and she'll get the exclamation point. No basket, but it's of no consequence. Kansas will escape with the win. Alexander fires a 3. Inconsequential. Kansas wins 80-75. Dayan Hall-Jones and Leah Cotton, your big name players for the Nuggets.
What a 1-2 punch for this Kansas Nuggets team.
And Minnesota, again, their first game here, so some growing pains to get through, but a lot of talent. It's going to be a lot of fun this season.
Absolutely. You know, a bit of a learning experience tonight for them, I think, but they'll be fine in the long run.
We'll pause briefly and come back with some interviews from both teams. This is Women's Blue Chip Basketball on TSB Television. Kansas wins 80-75. Mike Peden here with a couple of big name players for Kansas. Dayan Hall-Jones is next to me, and to her right is Leah Cotton. Dayan, we'll start with you. Your jumper was on point throughout this game, and despite your 5'4" frame, you found some spaces. How did you do it?
I mean, I've been 5'4" for a long time, so you know, you get used to it. You know, I played basketball at UMKC. It was tall, halves, used to it.
Were you able to get those big jumpers as you get a salute from Jade Tinner over there?
I mean, me and Jade actually went to school together, so we kind of have a working flow. We know how to play together well, so.
And how big was this victory? You had to fight with Minnesota. Nobody led by more than 6, but you hit some, we said, key jumpers, and then at the end, hitting some key free throws and the game-clinching steal.
It was a very.
Your owner's video bombing you.
Yes, it was a very big win. You know, we heard that Minnesota was trying to amp us up on the radio, so you know we wanted to come prepared and get a win. We were very amped up for this game.
Amped up might be an understatement. Leah, I think you had 29 points by our count, and I remember your career high at Minnesota was 26. You put up a lot of points again. You also had a nice jumper with your game and came up big on defense, stripping the ball. What was your approach tonight?
I mean, it's nice to come out here and play in front of some familiar faces. I wanted to come back and finish it on a good note. Like I said, I got a great group of ladies I'm working with, and they definitely came through and hey, made it definitely something to remember.
How tough was this Minnesota team? Because for all the fantastic plays you put in there, Minnesota kept countering every punch until the final seconds.
I mean, it was a fight. Like I said, they have a great squad, and like Dayon said already, we already came up, ready to go because we heard they was amping us up on the radio. So we definitely came in and we had a statement to make. So that's what we came here to do.
And for both of you, how does this compare to your collegiate days? Of course, you've dealt with these situations many times, but you're among friends and it's a little looser. You guys are a little more experienced and a lot more scrappy, as we saw tonight.
For me, I don't like to lose in anything. I don't like to lose in checkers, Clue. So in any game that I play in, I want to win. So it's all the same as far as college and here. Winning is winning. So
what she said.
You stole her line. Now, we spoke with Leah earlier, and for you, what are you looking to do with your career, whether it involves playing or coaching or just moving forward? How are you hoping to use this as a springboard?
I definitely want to pursue a career overseas. I actually did coach this last year, but I'm definitely ready to get overseas for sure.
And for you, Leah, how does this continue the strong start for the Kansas Nuggets as they move to 2-0?
I mean, we definitely put a great start to this. It's going to be a great season, as you can already tell. So I think this is just the first of many victories to come.
Was it fun playing against some of your old buddies and your old teammate, you and Ashley? I know had a couple of tussles.
I mean, I love Ash. She's a competitor, and I love playing against her because she doesn't like to quit. She doesn't like to give up. So it's definitely fun. Definitely fun.
And then who do you want to say hi to that might be watching this, Dayon? We asked Leah this in pregame. We'll give you this opportunity.
Hi to everybody. Shout out to my mama. No, I don't know.
Mom out? Is your mom there? Is your mom here?
Not, but hey, you never know.
And well, we know you said hi to some folks already, but is there anything you'd like to say now that we're going to give you the soapbox?
I mean, thank you for honestly, because this is a great state. They treated me well while I was up here. I had an amazing time up in Minnesota, and the fans definitely showed their love, and that's something I appreciate.
So they treat you well, and you pay them back with a 29-point effort and deflate.
Some people up here who came to watch me play in college ball, they came up here to support me here. I see some very familiar faces, so I'm definitely grateful.
Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with us. Congratulations on the win, and have fun back in Kansas.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Dayon Hall-Jones and Leah Cotton of the Kansas Nuggets. We'll try to get a Minnesota interview in a moment. I'm here with Ashley Ellis-Milan of Minnesota. You came up a little bit short tonight, but that was one heck of a game. So how much fun is it for you to suit up and take the court as a player?
It's super fun. I mean, it's a great opportunity for us kids in Minnesota who maybe are trying to get overseas or already played overseas or just want to have fun to play. And it was so fun. And it was our first game. We had to get the kinks out a little bit. It shouldn't have been that close. We'll get it next time.
Well, even though you came up a little bit short, it was one heck of a performance from you, and then Alexander and Scott had some nice plays. So how were you able to get some of those opportunities throughout this game?
I think Tanisha Scott did a really good making sure that we were getting the ball was in the right people's hands. We just have to finish. We didn't do a good job finishing tonight, but I think that'll come as we play. But otherwise, offensively and defensively, we let them get too many open looks, but other than that, it was okay.
And then your old teammate on the Gophers, Leah, and then Dayon Hall-Jones lit you guys up. Leah was particularly hard to stop. How tough was she to contain tonight?
I just think we let her just drive to the basket, and that was part of the scouting report is all she does is drive, and I told them that. But we'll know for next time, and we'll have a better plan.
So how fun was it to go up against one of your old comrades?
It was good. I missed her. I mean, it's all good.
Until she put up those 29 points, then, no, I'm kidding.
No. She's good. I respect her game, and I think she's a good basketball player.
Now, you were a part of the Jaguars program 3 years ago, the last semi-pro team. We haven't had one for 3 years, so I guess how influential, how important is it to have this kind of a program where we've had the Lynx, they've won a couple of titles, but nothing really underneath, nothing, no feeder or developmental system. So what does the Black Eyes offer for folks who want to continue playing basketball?
It offers a great opportunity. I think it's good that we do have the Minnesota Lynx here because, Cheryl and Jim are able to maybe come watch some of our games, and we actually are playing there next Saturday after their game. So it'll be a good opportunity for them to see us and for us to see them, and even around the country. It'll be a good opportunity for all of us, really.
I'll be there too, but I'll be getting post-game interviews around that time. But you mentioned Tanisha getting the ball in the right hands and finding lanes. Did that experience come from you two kind of coaching together? Did you pick up on any instincts? Did that carry over to this?
Well, me and Tanisha Scott play together in the summer league and in the spring and in the winter, so we have a good chemistry and a good vibe together. So we play well together, and we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and she knows where I need the ball all the time. So that's just how we play.
And as we mentioned, you two are both coaches at Minneapolis South. You coach JV, and then she is head coach of varsity. What has that experience been like for the both of you, and just what kind of opportunities and lessons does that offer that you maybe didn't get as a player?
I think you see the game. So she's a smart coach, and me, I have their mentality. So I'm learning from her, and I think that by her teaching me floor in different areas and seeing the floor in different aspects, and me teaching her like where posts want the ball, where we feed off of each other, and coaching has helped us so much, and it's developed our kids. What we say to them has made our program better. So, she's a phenomenal person, and she's a good coach.
I think this was last year was your second season, and South got a winning record, I believe, first time in a long time. So we might be going to your place in the winter, but that's a few months away. What are you looking to get out of this, whether you want to continue playing or just kind of continue being the role model that you seek out to be for so many kids in Minneapolis South and around the Twin Cities?
I think that I'm just trying. I'm just trying to win. Whatever happens is going to happen with me. I mean, I have opportunities, a lot of opportunities right now on the table, and I'm just going to take what I want and take what I can get. But I think that I'm a good face for the city and for the youth, and especially for the Minneapolis South girls basketball program. So we're doing this for us. We're doing this for our team. We're doing this for our family and our city.
And finally, anyone you want to say hi to that might be watching this?
Yeah, my dad, my mom, my family, everybody. Hey, Minneapolis South, everybody.
Well, 21 points, and hopefully you'll come out on the winning end in the next game, but a very fun contest, and as you pointed out, really a foundation for bigger things in the Twin Cities area. We hope your efforts are successful here and at Minneapolis South.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thanks.
Ashley Ellis-Milan of Minnesota. That will do it from here. Kansas defeats Minnesota 80-75. We'll be back next time. This is Women's Blue Chip Basketball.